Good morning. This is the Red Rock area of Coconino National Forest, and I'm going to stop here to talk a little anime.
Rose of Versailles.
The Rose of Versailles is a 1979 shoujo anime TV series from TMS. Its story is historical fiction set against the backdrop of the French Revolution. It's based on the shoujo manga by Ryoko Ikeda. Oscar Desjardins is born of proud and noble parents, but her father is a bit off. He wanted a son, not a daughter, so he could continue the family tradition of serving the French royal family. When presented with only a daughter, he names her Oscar and raises her as a son instead, eschewing the ladylike virtues for swordplay. This will take her years of therapy to cure. Andre is Oscar's best friend, in addition to being her loyal family servant. The story gets started around 1767 when a teenaged Marie Antoinette, daughter of Austrian Empress Marie Theresa, was sent from Austria to France to marry the Dauphin, Louis Auguste. Louis Auguste is going to become Louis XVI, King of France. When choosing a personal bodyguard for the new Dauphine, who could be better than Oscar, a woman trained with a sword? The Dauphine is impressed.
さすが女とはやっぱりの武勇。女？はい、女ながらもアントワネット様付きの近衛の隊長です。
Over the course of Rose of Versailles' 40 episodes, we'll see most of the significant court intrigues and historical events surrounding Queen Marie Antoinette and King Louis XVI of France, all told from Oscar's point of view. That includes the trivial, such as the inauspicious ink blot on the marriage agreement, and the young King Louis XVI's love of locksmithing and apparent disdain for procreation. It also devotes time to the politically significant intrigues at the court of Versailles, such as several episodes devoted to the young Dauphine Marie Antoinette's early feud at Versailles with Madame du Barry, King Louis XV's mistress. Later, Queen Marie has her own long-running affair with the handsome Swedish Lord Axel von Fersen, and that affair will last through much of the series, though it all seems very platonic in this anime telling. There's also many episodes devoted to the huge scandal called the Affair of the Necklace. I suppose we'd call it Necklacegate today. A couple of generally fictitious characters are invented to help explain that affair. And the series covers the major historical events of the period, such as the storming of the Bastille, the tennis court oath, and finally the French Revolution, which led to Marie's execution. I hope you didn't consider that a spoiler. One of the big attractions of the series is it's set in such a tumultuous time in history. Aside from the introduction of fictitious Oscar and her supporting cast such as Andre, the series maintains general historical accuracy. Oscar's own wife gets a few side episodes of exploration as well, though those are all completely fictional. That includes her domineering father's slavish devotion to tradition and her own conflicts with the royal guard. Even Andre gets to move out from Oscar's shadow for a bit when he's enlisted into the French regular army. Oscar has a friendly relationship with Queen Marie Antoinette, and the anime views Marie Antoinette more as a tragic victory of her own isolation at court rather than an evil figure. Oscar does her best to support the Queen, even when Oscar feels the Queen might be wrong. Andre has a similar relationship with his Lady Oscar, a loyal friend and supporter, though as a commoner he seems to feel the tide of history turning before Oscar does. On the other hand, it doesn't have much respect for Louis XVI of France, who comes off as a bit of a dullard. The anime is directed by veteran Osamu Dezaki in his very distinctive style. Dezaki also directed such series as Aim for the Ace, Ashita no Joe, Blackjack, Space Adventure Cobra, Hakagui, and a pile of others he's still adding to. The artwork is generally very good. There are plenty of historical settings, of course, including Versailles and the countryside of France, the streets of Paris and its many cathedrals and estates. These are painted as rich backgrounds and generally accurate. The art is also distinctively shoujo, with the traditional girls' themes of roses and sparkling little stars popping up. The character designs are interesting because it covers them from their teens to their late adulthood, so there are about a dozen versions of every character as they age. The animation is both dated and unspectacular. This isn't an action series, though it does provide a few chances for Oscar to flash her sword. And there's certainly no fly through the hall of mirrors as there is with Le Chevalier d'Eon. There are only a couple of musical themes in Rose of Versailles, not really enough for such a long series. They work all right in the context of the individual episodes, but by the time you're done with all 40 episodes, you'll be sick of every one of those themes. Despite all the careful historical placement, Rose of Versailles is ultimately the story of a fictional character, Oscar Desjardins. Strangely, this isn't a feminist story. Oscar never really has to struggle to be a woman in a man's world. Her father raises her as if she's his son and expected her to join the military. If anything, she's submitting to her father's imposed stereotypes. The anime doesn't make a big deal of that break with traditional gender roles, although just about every other woman we meet is going to be a traditional 18th century woman. Oscar is still the archetype of many other strong-willed, uniformed anime women. Oscar struggles with her conscience throughout the series, a traditional noble loyal to the monarchy in general, and to her friend and queen, Marie Antoinette in particular. Oscar witnesses the excesses at court while the French people suffer. She helps the queen conduct a secret affair with Axel von Fersen despite her misgivings. She stands by the queen during the affair of the necklace, yet Oscar's loyalist leanings eventually come between her and her best friend and loyal servant Andre. Sooner or later, everyone has to choose a side. It's the French Revolution, after all. It's ultimately a tragedy for everyone at court. The Rose of Versailles isn't for everyone. It's strongly shoujo, has no sorcery, psychic powers, mecha, spaceships, harems, or fan service. I give it 4 stars for those who can look past the dated animation to find an interesting piece of storytelling set at a fascinating time in history. Rose of Versailles has never had an American English release, although it did have a French edition as Lady Oscar. I've used my old Laserdiscs for this discussion. By the way, there was also a live-action movie version of Ryoku Ikeda's Rose of Versailles manga, made about the same time as the anime. It was made by a French cast, but shot in English, of all things, and at Versailles. It was made for a Japanese audience. Despite the English language, it was never released in the United States. Thanks for listening.